I believe Lexie Hall is a dynamic player. She's somebody that we need to keep on the team. She's almost like the second heartbeat to the team next to Caitlin Clark. Fans love Lexie. Her family's heavily involved online. They awesome people as well. Her mom, her sister, all of the Hall gang show nothing but love to content creators and definitely to the Indiana Fever. Now, this clip that I'm about to show you guys, we is about to react to it now. There's an article to go with it, but
Indiana Fever guard Lexie Hull sat down with Fox News for an exclusive interview, addressing the wave of online hostility directed at Fever players and the broader reality of what it means to share a roster with the most talked-about player in the sport. Hull was measured but clear. She acknowledged that the scrutiny that comes with being on this team is unlike anything most players deal with, and that while outside opinions are part of the job, there is a point where things cross a line. Personal attacks on someone's character, she said, are where it stops being part of the noise and becomes something more serious.
About to show you guys, we is about to react to it now. There's an article to go with it, but I kind of want to play the clip itself first, just so we can kind of listen and check out what Lexie Hall had to say. Fox News reporter stated Indiana Fever guard Lexie Hall opened up to me about the most challenging part about sharing a team with Caitlin Clark.
I think the most challenging part is there's just so much scrutiny. People have opinions online, and unfortunately that's part of the job and the role that we play. I think people should focus on us as
When asked whether she herself had been on the receiving end of that kind of treatment, she said she likely had, but that she stopped reading comments specifically to avoid it. On the question of whether all the extra attention has changed how the Fever operate as a team, Hull pushed back on the idea that it has altered anything fundamental. The approach to the game, the relationships within the group, what players put out on social media, none of that has shifted.
I think people should focus on us as people need to know that everyone's human. We're real people. I think that when things get blown out of proportion, when things get really personal and there's personal attacks on people's character, I think that's where it's over the line.
Have you ever been on the receiving end of one of those character attacks?
I mean, I'm sure I have. I try not to read comments for that reason.
Wow.
What has changed is the scale of engagement surrounding the team. Fever jerseys show up in arenas across the entire country. The following travels.
Wow. So Lexie Hall stated that she more than likely been attacked online. Now, she don't read comments or anything like that. Now, we know, I just hate to put a label on it, but a lot of those Angel Reese Chicago Sky fans was going at Caitlin Clark pretty heavy last year and the entire team. Hell, Sophie Cunningham get attacked all the time online. Like, we see people talking trash about Sophie Cunningham, and she don't ever say nothing, but I forget.
Hull noted that for opposing teams, that kind of visible, loud support for the visiting side adds another layer of motivation, a desire to perform in front of their own crowd and knock off the team with all the attention. On the physical nature of the game and whether it has intensified over the past 2 seasons, Hull kept her answer straightforward. The game has always been physical. Social media, she argued, amplifies individual moments and makes them feel bigger than they might actually be within the flow of competition.
I forget which player it was. I think Bree Turner went at fans before online for like attacking her.
I think everyone does a really good job of not giving the rise in attention any attention. I think we're still showing up the same way that we do every day. But like knowing that there's more eyes on us, knowing that there's more seats in the stands, all of that is exciting, but I don't think it necessarily changes how we.
What Hull was notably careful about was drawing any direct line between on-court incidents and the rivalry dynamics that have built up around the Fever's rise. There have been well-documented moments, flagrant plays, confrontations, flare-ups between specific players that a large portion of the fan base has pointed to as something beyond routine competitive physicality. Hull did not go there explicitly.
I don't think it necessarily changes how we go about the game, go about our relationships, go about what we post on social media. I think it adds to the engagement. I think that's really the biggest difference.
What do you think is the reputation of the Fever among fans, but also among opposing players?
I think that there's always because of the fans that we've gotten since 2024, the rise.
She framed everything through the lens of competitors wanting to win, players fighting for their teammates and fan bases. That restraint reads as deliberate a choice to speak openly about the problem without implicating the league or specific opponents by name. The timing of the interview carries its own weight.
And I think like popularity with the Indiana Fever being like a name people know, I think creates full arenas, and there's a million Fever jerseys and Fever shirts. I think like as an opposing team, it's like you want to win even more because it feels like there's just so many people rooting for you.
Coming out right before the season tips off, it functions as a public acknowledgement that what Fever players experience online is real, documented, and worth naming while still keeping the tone professional enough not to inflame things further. Hull has bought a home in Indiana. The franchise placed restrictions on her in free agency, signaling their intent to retain her, and she is widely regarded as one of the more important pieces around Clark on both ends of the floor. For a player in that position to step forward and speak about the uglier side of the team spotlight says something about where the conversation around the Fever currently stands.
Because it feels like there's just so many people rooting creates. I mean, it's exciting to have that type of follow across the country. And I think like for other teams, they have great fans and great people that show up for them, and they want to perform for those people just as much as we want to perform for ours.
Do you think the games have gotten more physical as a result of that extra motivation by the other players, especially in the last 2 years before this year?
Jackie Young is staying in Las Vegas. Despite widespread speculation that the Las Vegas Aces would stop short of offering her the full maximum contract, the organization moved forward with exactly that, making Young the first player in WNBA history to sign a deal exceeding $1 million. The milestone carries weight beyond just one player's payday, as it signals a new financial era for the league under the recently negotiated collective bargaining agreement.
They're like the Fever. They are like the Fever in how they recruit. They are recruiting players based on vibes, based on past relationships. Like, a lot of their recruitment comes from who these coaches, who the like front office, who the players previously had relationships with, and who's willing to just jump on the train and come for the cheap because they feel like we can win a ring. And I don't know if there's going to be as much of that.
With Chelsea Gray expected to return on a standard max deal and Aja Wilson locked in on a supermax, the Aces now face a familiar roster construction challenge. 3 significant salary commitments at the top of the payroll leaves limited room to surround that core with depth. The franchise has historically leaned on veteran players willing to accept below-market money in exchange for the chance to compete for a championship, a recruitment model built largely on existing relationships between the front office, coaching staff, and players rather than financial incentives.
Come for the cheap because they feel like we can win a ring. And I don't know if there's going to be as much of that in the new CBA. And like, I'm going to be honest, I thought the Aces recruited really badly last year. They just have Aja Wilson and Jackie Young on their team. Like, I think it helps. It helps when you have these two on your team. But the Aces are clearly, you're never not going to be contenders when you have these two players on your team. It's as simple as that. Like, when you've got Aja Wilson and Jackie Young on your team, worst case scenario, you are like secondary contenders, which they were last year. And look, they literally won a title as what I would believe.
Whether that approach continues to yield results under the new CBA terms remains uncertain. That said, the foundation itself is hard to argue with. When a roster includes both Aja Wilson and Jackie Young, the floor for that team is legitimately high.
As what I would believe, what I will say, is a secondary contender. Like, they weren't in the best 3 teams of the WNBA last year and they still won a title because they've just got that championship experience. So no Jackie to the Lynx. We had the K-Mac announcement. I'm guessing, yeah. Run it back. Locker room going to be hell. A certain account was talking crazy about Jackie leaving. A certain account very closely linked to Aja Wilson was talking about Jackie Wilson leaving. Or Jackie Young leaving. That's all I'll say.
Even in a 2025 season where Las Vegas was arguably not among the 3 strongest teams in the league on paper, they captured the title, a testament to the experience and composure that accumulates over multiple deep playoff runs. The 2024 squad was widely considered a downgrade from the prior championship roster in several positions, yet the results still held. The Aces replaced stronger options at multiple spots and still found a way to win, which speaks to something beyond roster construction.
Wilson leaving, or Jackie Young leaving. That's all I'll say. And is it technically the first $1 million deal? It is the first $1 million deal has been signed. We all know Age is getting one. We all know if Kelsey Mitchell, wherever she goes, we assume the Fever. We all know she's getting a max deal. But Jackie Young coming back puts the Aces at worst in the, again, secondary contender category. If you want to put the Aces as one of your main contenders, so be it.
The 2025 championship run itself was far closer to unraveling than the final outcome suggests. In one critical late-game sequence, a defensive breakdown allowed Young to convert an uncontested tip-in that should never have been available. On the other end, a wide-open look near the basket went undelivered, a pull-up attempt bricked off the back rim, and Las Vegas survived a moment that could have extended the series or ended their run entirely.
Yep. Genuinely, like, if you believe that they are, be my guest. Like, funny thing is, the best Aces team on paper, like, of the last 2 years was 2024. Like, the Aces replaced Kelsey Plum with Jewel Lloyd and downgraded. They replaced Alicia Clark with Alyssa Smith, which is a downgrade. They replaced Tiffany Hayes with Aaliyah Nye, which is a downgrade. And they somehow, heck, they were I will say, they
Officiating patterns throughout that game also drew attention. The Aces visited the free throw line repeatedly on marginal contact calls, while similar contact in the other direction consistently went uncalled. The margin between winning and elimination was razor thin, even if the scoreline did not always reflect it. Looking ahead, the question surrounding Las Vegas is not whether Wilson and Young are enough to keep them in contention. They clearly are.
I will say Dane Evans is an upgrade on Coulson. They somehow won the damn title after not winning, while they didn't win in 2024. It's still mad how poor they were in 2024. And to be fair, in 2025, like, to be honest, they got lucky. Like, Neko Wumake, like, she absolutely screwed up. Like, they were a point down. Dominique Malonga played perfect defense with 15 seconds to go on an AJ Wilson game winner. And Neko Wumake decided that rebounding was optional.
The question is who fills the remaining spots. Whether the organization pursues a veteran minimum route again, brings back familiar names from past rosters, or shifts toward younger and less expensive contributors will define how realistic a title defense actually looks. Alyssa Thomas's restricted free agency situation appears unlikely to result in a matching offer from the Aces, given the financial constraints already in place.
Decided that rebounding was optional and let Jackie Young walk in for a wide open tip in for game. And then Skylar Diggins, I don't know what she was trying to do. For some reason, Dominique Malonga was wide open under the basket, standing there waving her arms, and instead of throwing her the ball, she shit herself and gave it to Erica Wheeler, who then dribbled in. Instead of, again, also, she could have maybe got it to Malonga. Kind of got scared and shot a pull-up and just back-rimmed it. So, like, they were that close to losing in the first round. In the semi-final,
what does seem clear is that Becky Hammond's presence as head coach elevates whatever group is assembled around the core. Hammond is regarded as one of the elite tactical minds in basketball at any level, and her ability to maximize available talent has been a consistent factor in Las Vegas, remaining dangerous regardless of roster turnover. With her on the sideline, Wilson anchoring the front court, and Young now confirmed as a long-term piece, the Aces enter the offseason as a franchise that has earned the benefit of the doubt, even with roster questions still outstanding.
Up and just back-rimmed it. So, like, they were that close to losing in the first round. In the semi-final, like, realistically, that Odyssey Sim shot to send it to OT should have been the shot to win the game. Like, that should have been a shot to win the game. Like, they should not have had free throws the previous possession. The referees gave everything to the Aces in that game. I think they got something like 4 fouls on rebounds. It was mental. They got 8 free throws on rebounds. Like, every 2 seconds they were going to the line of some soft BS off the ball call. And then the Indiana Fever
In terms of individual standing, Young's place in the conversation around the league's best guards has grown considerably. The debate around where she ranks relative to the next generation of stars remains active, and there is a reasonable argument that she belongs near the very top of that list. The max contract she just signed reflects that standing officially,